Go open the drawer. You know the one. The drawer with the dead gadgets in it. The fitness band that will not sync anymore. The smartwatch that lost its app. The little health tracker you spent good money on that now does nothing but blink and die. We all have that drawer, and we tell ourselves the batteries just gave out. But here is the truth. Nobody mentions when they sell you a health device. A lot of those gadgets did not break. The company behind them did. And here is what should bother you. A health gadget is not really a product you own. It is a hostage to a company staying alive. The hardware is in your hand, but the brain of it lives on someone else's servers, behind someone else's subscription, inside a company that can vanish overnight. And when that company dies, your device does not get a funeral. It just quietly stops, while the charge sometimes keeps coming and the brand keeps selling at full price like nothing happened. Today, 7 health tech brands that quietly died, what really happened to them, and why people are still paying the old premium for ghosts. Number 7. Jawbone. Before the Apple Watch ran the world, Jawbone was the future. The sleek-up band on every wrist, the brand that helped invent the whole idea of wearing your health on your arm. At its peak, Jawbone was valued at around $3 billion, with the kind of buzz money cannot buy. And then it simply came apart. By 2017, the company had begun liquidation, selling off its assets. There was no dramatic explosion, just a quiet dissolution, until it stopped existing as a consumer brand at all. Think about what that means for the person who bought one. You strapped a piece of the future to your wrist, and one day the company that ran it was just gone, taking the app, the support, and the whole experience with it. The band still sat on your nightstand, but the future it promised had already filed for bankruptcy. Number 6. Pebble. This one stings for the people who were early. Pebble pioneered the smartwatch, wrist-based notifications, app integration, the whole concept, years before Apple showed up and took the crown. A genuine Kickstarter legend. Then in 2016, Pebble confirmed it was shutting down. Its software and many of its people were absorbed into Fitbit, and the chief executive officer admitted plainly they would no longer manufacture Pebble devices. Warranty support was pulled, and owners were warned in writing that functionality might be reduced in the future. Read that again. You bought the device, and the company that sold it to you told you out loud that the thing you paid for would slowly get worse. Pebble was not bought to be saved. It was bought for its talent and its patents, and the product you were wearing was left to quietly wind down. Number 5. Proteus Digital Health. You probably never owned this one, but its story is the warning label for the entire industry. Proteus made a so-called smart pill, an ingestible sensor that signaled when medication was taken, paired with a wearable patch. It sounded like science fiction, and investors agreed, valuing the company at around $1.5 billion. It even helped create one of the first digital pills ever cleared by regulators. And then it ran out of money, furloughed most of its staff, and filed for bankruptcy. A billion-dollar idea gone. The lesson is brutal and simple. In health tech, a sky-high valuation and a futuristic product guarantee nothing. The fancier and more connected the gadget, the more completely it depends on a company that may not be there next year. Number 4. The health app that quietly kept charging you. This is the purest version of the trap. You download a fitness or wellness app, you start a subscription, and at some point, that app gets abandoned or pulled, or the little startup behind it shuts down. The app stops updating. Maybe it stops working entirely, so you delete it and move on. But the subscription does not die with the app, because it was never tied to the app. It is tied to your Apple ID or your Google account. and it lives there, renewing quietly, month after month, whether the app functions or not. Deleting it is like throwing out a treadmill and expecting the gym to stop billing you. The product can be completely dead, the company long gone, and the charge keeps leaving your account anyway for a health service that no longer exists. You assumed death would cancel it for you. It does not. Number 3. Fitbit. And this one is happening in slow motion, in real time. For years, Fitbit basically was the fitness tracker. The brand, the verb, the thing people meant when they said they were counting steps. Then, in early 2021, Google completed its acquisition. And here is the detail that tells you everything. Google was not just buying the hardware. Fitbit came with health and fitness data from more than 29 million active users, an enormous trove of personal information. Since then, the dedicated Fitbit website was shut down, and Google has steadily shifted its real focus to its own Pixel Watch. The expectation across the industry is that support and new development for the old Fitbit world slowly fades away. The name is still on the box, but the beloved independent company that earned all that loyalty has been absorbed, mined for its data, and quietly pushed aside in favor of something with a different logo. Number 2. Peloton. This is the one that shows you the trap with the mask completely off. After a recall of its treadmills, Peloton made a decision that stunned its own customers: to keep using the Tread and Tread Plus. Owners were required to keep paying the roughly $40 a month subscription. Stop paying, and the device would be made inactive. Let that sit for a second. People had spent up to $4,000 on a physical treadmill sitting in their home that they owned outright, and they were told they could not simply walk on it without an active monthly fee. The hardware was theirs. The ability to use it was rented. That is the entire health tech model laid bare. You do not buy the machine, you buy a subscription, and the machine is just the expensive hostage they hold to keep you paying. Number 1. 23andMe. Stay with this one because it is the most important entry on the list and easily the most chilling. At its height, this DNA testing company was valued at close to $6 billion. You spit in a tube, you paid a premium, and you got to learn about your ancestry and your health traits. Tens of millions of people did it. But the business had a fatal flaw. People took the test once and never came back, so demand dried up. And in March of 2025, 23andMe filed for bankruptcy. Now, here is where it stops being a normal corporate death. A judge ruled the company could sell its single most valuable asset to the highest bidder. And that asset was not a gadget. It was the genetic data of its customers. Eventually, the DNA of more than 10 million remaining people was sold off for around $305 million. Read that again. You paid a premium for a one-time health product. The company died, and the thing that outlived it, the thing that got packaged up and sold, was not a device on a shelf. It was you. Your DNA, listed as an asset in a bankruptcy. That is the perfect crime of this entire industry. 7 brands. 7 different ways a health gadget can die while the bill, or the premium, or the data lives on. A unicorn that dissolved. A pioneer absorbed and left to fade. A billion-dollar pill that ran dry. An app that kept charging from beyond the grave. A beloved brand mined for its data. A treadmill held hostage by a fee. And a company that died and sold its customers themselves. Here is the pattern, once you see it. A health device is not a thing you own. It is a bet that a company will still be alive next year to keep the lights on. And the premium you pay was never really for the plastic and the sensor. It was for a promise of permanence that this industry simply cannot keep. So before you buy the next shiny health gadget, ask 2 cold questions. Does this still work if the company disappears tomorrow? And what happens to my data if it does? Go check yours. And tell me in the comments which dead health gadget is sitting in your drawer right now, quietly reminding you that you were really just renting the future.